I'm going to show you something just with a sphere here. So we're just going to drag this down here, and I'm in orthographic view. That means straight at me, and I'm going to turn the activate transparency. That way I can select the polygons in the back side. We're going to go into face mode here, and I'm going to go ahead and select half of this. Alright, then I'm going to go to edit, cut, edit, paste. Now this is going to kind of resemble how I join the two together. I know this is just a sphere. Actually, what happened in the video, which was slight mistake, is one of these were a little bit larger than the other. On these where the two pieces meet together down here. Alright, we had a little bit of overlap. Alright, as you can see down here, if you zoom in the video here, I should have zoomed in and scaled it right. But that's not a problem. The problem started when I used the snap align. So if I go to the utilities and I use snap align, alright, I'm going to select this one here, and I'm going to connect it to this one here. See what happened right there? That one point snapped to the other point, but it offset this top piece that's off in one corner. So my next step was to weld these, which I was in selected object mode. I got two over here, so I'll control A. Then we're going to go over to vertex modeling, and typically should have welded it, but the average weld will still convert these into one. But it will not give you an option to validate that. So what happened is I went ahead and selected the average weld, and you can see the options here never gave me a choice to select nothing, but now I have one too. So my next step to see if it was all welded, I selected here and looped, and what I meant was when I pulled up on it, you can see how this one stuck together here. The reason why it stuck together because these 2 points shared the same position. That's when I used the snap align. And I said, well, this looks alright. Well, it wasn't alright, because if it was, all these would move together at one time. Alright, but I had this right here. This is why I was pulling it to check it. So that was a mistake. So let's control Z this back, and let's kind of get this back. Alright, now I'm not going to use snap align. These are apart. Alright, so these are on top of one another. As example, if this was kind of offset here, you can almost bring it back in the same position if you the same pivot point. If you grab this little triangle here, then hold the shift key and it should snap. Alright, then they share the same position here, so we'll just bring that back up, the center pivot point position. Alright, now we don't want to use snap align because it offset it, so I could scale it down and match it, but let's say this one is a little bit big and I still wanted to weld it. Okay, not a problem. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get in orthographic view here, and I'm just going to eyeball it. Alright, we can eyeball it, get really close. Alright, I'm going to leave a little gap so you can see in the video, because that's not going to be a problem anyway. So now we got two separate objects here. So we're in object mode. I'm going to control A this, and we can use the average weld to weld this, or we can use the weld. It don't matter. They're both going to weld it as one. This example, I can just use the weld, and then we get one. Now we need to do it again, but we need to be in point mode. So we're going to select the point mode up here. Then we're going to control A. This time we are going to use average weld, not weld, average weld. When I do this, you can see right here, this gives me an option to click and weld. Alright, when I did this, I clicked it one time. You may need to look around it and make sure everything looks like it's welded. Let's go ahead and validate that. And I'm going to select the edge. And when I select the edge and I loop it, when I pull up, if everything's welded, everything will move together. Remember, I was just moving at one point, and as long as I don't see no hole and it's moving all the edges together and we're not getting any gap, alright, it's working. Okay, So let's Control Z that back a little bit where we get this little gap. Now sometimes when we get little points up here that are close and we're using average weld, it could also weld these, and it could also weld these up here if you're not careful. You can isolate that by, let me go ahead and go in this view here. We're in point mode, and what I want to do is I want to turn on the transparency so I can select the front and back. And this is the only area that I want to do the average weld. Then I don't have to worry about these points up here getting welded. So we're going to average weld this, and we're going to click it. And if I keep on clicking it, you'll see these starting to bunch up, but these over here, they won't get affected. Alright, so this kind of helps isolate the area. And once again, check it. Just go ahead and loop this and take a look at it around here. And as long as you're pulling up and it's not got no holes and gaps, that will pretty much be safe on that part.